Imagine hauling up a fish bigger than most cars. In 1956 on Peru's Cabo Blanco Pier, a celebrated American novelist and his local skipper posed beneath a black marlin tipping the scales at nearly half a ton. The fight lasted hours, and the writer mailed this photo to a friend as proof that his sea stories weren't exaggerated. This lineup is the Soviet women's gymnastics squad, early 1970s. Each leotard bears a tiny CCCP patch. Less fashion, more Cold War flex. Since 1952, the USSR hadn't surrendered Olympic team gold, so every flip and landing here doubled as a statement that Moscow still ruled the mat. Long before plastic pumpkins and store-bought superheroes, Halloween looked like this. Around 1910, a parlor studio captured revelers in hand-sewn robes, pointed witch caps, and papier-mâché masks so eerie they'd scare a modern slasher flick. Back then, everything was DIY. No mass-made costumes until the 1930s. So, one night a year, America's basements turned into monster workshops. Through a hand-sized window in a French women's prison, 1989, inmates stretched to steal a hug. No glass, just a wooden frame, and a few illegal seconds of skin-to-skin. Photographer Jane Evelyn Atwood spent 10 years inside 40 such prisons. Her candid images shocked Europe and forced officials to confront how isolation punishes families, not just prisoners. In mid-1960s, somewhere behind the Iron Curtain, these two gymnasts in leotards had a May Day parade, flags at their side. Communist states loved physical culture shows. Huge Spartakiad displays boasted tens of thousands of athletes, a living billboard that socialism could sculpt, strong, graceful bodies. No, that's not a cannon, it's a punt gun, a 9-foot shotgun once mounted to rowboats for market duck hunting on Britain's fens. One pull of the trigger could drop 50 birds, feeding London's restaurants but devastating wetlands. By the 1920s, laws scaled these fouling pieces down, and the era of shoulder-lugging artillery like this faded into legend. Meet America's gridiron pioneers. No helmets, no Nike logos. Circa 1890, these college athletes posed with Indian clubs, a leather medicine ball, and a bulldog mascot. Early football was rugby tough. No forward pass, thin pads, bones broken so often that President Teddy Roosevelt soon stepped in to make the game safer. Atlantic City's boardwalk, late 1930s. A fearless performer throws back her cape to reveal head-to-toe ink, when tattoos were still sailor's turf, not high fashion. She even walked a national beauty stage like this, and NBC's live mic carried the shock coast to coast. Where does elegance end and body art begin? Yeah, London, 1960s. Prince Philip leans in to pin a medal on a Royal Air Force officer whose face is a map of burns and grafts. The pilot survived a World War II crash and joined the famous Guinea Pig Club, airmen who became living test cases for early plastic surgery breakthroughs, a brotherhood whose scars pushed medicine forward. After curtain call, 3 members of the all-male parody troupe Les Ballets Trocadero de Monte Carlo belly up to a New York bar, still in their feathery Swan Lake tutus. Founded in 1974, the Trocs turned classical ballet on its head, proving point shoes and punchlines can share the same stage. Margate, England, 1933. This smiling bathing beauty shows off a brand new latex swimsuit, cotton shirred around rubber threads, so it clung to curves instead of sagging when wet. Resort towns ran contests like this to lure tourists, and the splashy press coverage nudged swimwear from wool sacks toward the sleek styles that would soon inspire the modern two-piece. A rare off-duty snapshot of Waffen SS officers mid-Wabifura. The black collar tabs and twin lightning bolt runes mark Hitler's elite paramilitary corps, later judged a criminal organization at Nuremberg. Cigarettes and easy smiles hide the fact that these men enforced some of the war's worst atrocities on the Eastern Front. Meet Chester McDuffie's 1911 Iron Man diving suit, 650 pounds of cast aluminum that let a diver walk the ocean floor at 200 feet when wooden helmets still ruled. Ball and socket joints at the shoulders and hips mimic a human skeleton, making this the grandfather of today's deep-sea exosuits, and a century-old glimpse of what folks then imagined a robot would look like. Here's a beekeeper turning himself into a human hive. Thousands of honeybees hang from his chin and chest, forming a bee beard. The secret? a caged queen tucked near his neck, her scent lures the calm workers into a living curtain. Bee-beard stunts like this wowed crowds at American state fairs right through the 1950s. Nightmare fuel in an RAF uniform. Around 1932, Britain's Air Ministry tested this all-leather anti-gas flying hood, meant to seal pilots against poison clouds while fitting under a helmet and radio gear. Crews despised the claustrophobic serial killer look, and rubberized masks quickly won the day. Italy, mid-1950s. A rising starlet arches toward the sun during a swimsuit screen test on a Cinecittà backlot. Post-war audiences craved this new Mediterranean glamour. Bold curves, windswept hair, and confidence that promised la dolce vita long before the cameras even rolled. Taken on the MGM backlot in 1931, this photo pairs two stars of Todd Browning's cult film, Freaks. On the left is Prince Randian, the limbless human torso, who could light a cigarette with only his lips. On the right, Baltimore-born Johnny Eck, the half-boy, balances on his powerful arms. In an era that exploited physical difference for profit, these men turned Sideshow stigma into a career, and left Hollywood with one of its most unforgettable movies. Snapped in a 1920s-style photo booth, this well-dressed gentleman deliberately distorts his features. Wild hair, sunken eyes, exaggerated pout, turning a simple passport pose into an avant-garde grimace. After World War I, Surrealists loved these coin-op photomatons, seeing them as instant mirrors of the subconscious rather than polite studio shots. Two great war veterans relax over a hand of cards, each holding a custom card gripper at the end of an early 1900s prosthetic arm. After 1918, German surgeons pioneered these task-specific limbs. One socket, dozens of screw-on tools. The idea was simple. If you could still shuffle and play, maybe civilian life wasn't lost with the trenches. Midsummer, 1941, suburban London. Trainee nurses, exhausted by nightly Blitz casualties, snatch 5 minutes to play Leapfrog on the hospital lawn. Laughter and quick exercise were doctors' orders for morale, proof that even under blackout rules, Britain's home front spirit could still clear a fence. World War II, way up in the North Atlantic. A lone GI patrols his tin-roofed Quonset huts, but check the decor: palm trees welded from scrap and a beached ship's anchor. Navy Seabees built this tropical entrance in Iceland to fight homesickness, letting frozen troops pretend, for one cigarette break, they were guarding Waikiki instead of volcanic tundra. This stark 1930s press photo shows a Polish street performer living with severe skeletal dysplasia. Tabloids sensationally billed him as the human gnome, booking him into carnival sideshows that once toured the US like Barnum's. The suited handler and stylish woman frame a scene equal parts curiosity and exploitation, a reminder that hard times often turned human difference into headline entertainment.